Hi everyone, I hope all of you are doing well. Today, in this particular video of the prelims series, I'm going to talk about time management for UPSC prelims exam and how, in 8 ways, you can really manage your time in a much better way for your prelims exam, which is coming up. And even if you are appearing for prelims next year, you can use these steps to start preparing. So, what is the format of the prelims exam? From a time management perspective, it's very simple. There are 100 questions and you get 120 minutes to answer these 100 questions. So, obviously, the first important thing to remember is that you are always short of time. You don't have enough time to answer these 100 questions. Obviously, you get less than even 1.5 minutes for every question. So, you have to be someone who has done enough practice. You have to pace yourself and you have to be relaxed. That is very important. So before exam, at least 2 months before the exam, let's say the exam is in July, so 2 months before the exam, so what would be 2 months? Around in April time, you should start practicing and you should at least solve 15 to 20 full papers of UPSC, and you should time yourself. You should be very serious about picking up old year question papers, or you should just pick up some full test series from one of the institutes out there, and you should solve this, time yourself and see how good you are at timing, and try different techniques. Try the techniques I'm going to tell you in order to be prepared for the UPSC prelims and be able to manage time well. Okay, so this is the first thing that you must do in order to be able to do well when it comes to time management. The second thing is, in the exam hall, definitely remember to take the analog watch so that you can time yourself. See, if you don't have a watch which is telling you time, how much time has passed, it becomes very difficult to pace yourself. I used to always carry a watch, always, because sometimes what happens is students think that exam hall will have its own watch or clock. You can ask the examiner or the person who's there, the invigilator, for the time. But I believe you can buy a simple watch for 100, 200 rupees, 300 rupees. I had a watch which I bought for around 800 rupees online on Amazon. Just buy a watch and take that and try to use this watch for your practice, for your timing practice, because then you will become familiar with that watch and how it works. So buy a cheap watch and use that for your practice, because it's very important to be able to time yourself during writing the exam hall. And I had the habit, I personally will tell you, I had the habit of watching time almost every 5 to 10 minutes, so that I was knowing that I am moving in my concerned time limit, or I am moving according to the time I have set for myself. Now the third thing, this is about how to solve the paper in a so that your time management is good. You should divide the solving of the paper, of the prelims paper, in 3 batches. Now what does that mean? There are 100 questions. So 3 batches means that simply the first batch you run through the entire paper at a good speed, fast, in around 50 to 60 minutes, and you only solve questions that you know 100%. There will be at least 30 to 40 questions that you will know 100% if you are prepared well. So you should run in the first batch, you should run fast throughout the paper and solve these 20 to 30 questions, and also mark them on the OMR sheet. I will tell you how to fill the OMR sheet after that. So in first batch, run through the entire paper and solve those questions. Then in second batch, now you have come back again, you have finished 50-60 minutes, you have come back, and now in the second time or second run or second batch, use the elimination method and calculated guesses then to solve the next batch of questions. And these will be around 20 questions. So you will be able to get around 50 to 60 questions in the 90 minutes. And then you will be pretty set, because 90 minutes you have 120 minutes total time. In 90 minutes you have done twice you have run through the paper and you have almost finished the paper, and you have answered almost 50 to 60 questions that you were very certain about. But the third batch is something where you become less certain. You are going to do some tukkabaji. You are going to just look at some questions and try to use elimination, try to use your recalling techniques, try to use your visualization techniques that I have also talked about. This you will spend around 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because you will need other time to kind of fill the attendance. You should keep at least 10 minutes on the side, because in last what will happen is these 10 minutes would be crucial minutes where you will be allocating time to trying to answer even more questions. But my strategy is you follow this, use this for practice. Here I'm telling you, if you use this technique for practice, you become an expert at it. It will become very easy for you to solve any kind of UPSC prelims paper. Then the fourth technique is that fill the OMR sheet after attempting questions on one page of the UPSC question sheet. Basically, the UPSC question sheet that you are given, A, B, C, D, the question paper, on every sheet they have approximately 4 questions or 5 questions. So you should be filling the OMR sheet after solving each of these sheets. So let's say you see the UPSC question paper, there are 4 questions, you have solved all these 4 questions. Go ahead and fill the OMR sheet consecutively. Let's say these are question number 6, 7, 8, 9. Go ahead and fill the 6, 7, 8, 9 questions in the OMR sheet, the answers, and then come back and flip the page and go to the next sheet. This is very important because I feel if you leave filling the OMR sheet for last, it is very difficult. If you try to fill OMR sheet after every question, you are also distracted consistently. So doing this will help you. So I feel like you should also practice this technique and see for yourself how does it help you. Then the next one is the fifth one. This is what I tried to do and it worked for me, but I don't know if it will work for you. So just try it in your practice. Try to find the section which you are most comfortable with. By this I mean that every UPSC paper is divided into sections. First, either let's say you have got the A series question paper. So in A series question paper, the first set of 20 questions or 15 questions might be from polity. The second set of 10 questions might be from economics. The next current affairs, the next environment, the next history, medieval, modern history, like that. In B sheet or in B series, it might be the other way. They will jumble the questions. So it might be first starting with economics and then polity and then like that. So try finding the section you are most comfortable with. If you are comfortable with, let's say, history, or if you're comfortable with, let's say, polity. I used to be very comfortable with polity. So I used to always start with polity and economics. So I used to read the first question and see, acha, this is polity question. No, it is not polity question. Flip. Try to find where the polity questions are quickly. And then I used to solve that particular section first, mark it in the OMR sheet after every one page, and then I used to move ahead. This saved me a lot of time and this also helped me to get into the flow. You can try it in the practice. If it works for you, try it. If it doesn't work for you, start from the first question only. Don't read the whole paper first. A lot of students try to read the first whole paper and then solve it. This is a bad technique for prelims also, for mains also. The question is in front of you, answer it and then move ahead. Cooperate with the examiner. By this I mean that don't try to argue with the examiner. Just fill your attendance sheet. They will come to you. Some of the examiners are a little, they have their own quirks. Don't focus on that. Whatever they tell you, quickly fill it. Be careful while filling it. Sometimes the examiner is confused. Use your common sense. Sometimes, especially if you're the first person who has to fill the OMR sheet, ensure that you're filling it correctly. So just, give it extra 5 minutes, but make sure that you did do this properly. This is not wasting of time. This is good use of time. All right. And the last technique I would tell you is that whatever the longer questions are there, let's say there's a question on half of the page. It has confusing language. You're not sure of the language because it is kind of making jalebi. You have read it in Hindi also. So these kind of questions you can come to later. Quickly skip them and go to the easier question. Go to the shorter questions. Questions questions you have directly read. They are fact-based, straightforward from the current affairs or from the subject you're comfortable with. So focus on easy first. That's why I say first batch should be fast, running through the paper, going through it fast in 50 to 60 minutes and solving as many as you know. All right. So this is the technique or the 8 ways of successful time management for UPSC prelims.